What's going on, everybody? Today is Thursday, September 19th, episode 4 of Picks and Parleys. We're in the wake of Bloody Sunday. Eric was the only one to go positive. 0 to hero. Congrats, buddy.
Thank you.
It was bad.
It was really bad. There's a lot of teams that I'm mad at. We could start with that if you guys want.
Yeah.
I think the Saints, here's my hot take. I think the Saints suck. They've scored 11 touchdowns. Or maybe they don't suck. It's just fluky fucking bullshit. They've scored 11 touchdowns. What is it? 3 of them are over 57 yards.
That's
that just
fucking
doesn't,
crazy.
I don't know if the Steelers are going to have a 57-yard touchdown the entire year. Probably
No,
not.
George, it'll get called back.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, they're actually probably going to have about 10, and they're all going to get called back. But yeah, I mean, they played the Panthers and the Cowboys. The Panthers are the fucking Panthers, and the Cowboys. Who would have thought the Cowboys have a world-class, embarrassing loss?
Yeah. Cowboys stinker. Who could have fucking seen that coming?
Yeah.
Not me, because I fucking bet on them, but,
Yeah, me too.
you know.
Yeah, I tried to get Olivia to. I was like, let's make a parlay for her first. That was her first bets ever. She had the Chargers. That was a great one. And she had the Cowboys, and it was just instantly. I was like, I'm so sorry, but it's over.
Why do they do that? They do it every fucking year. Like, why do they always have those fucking games where they just stink out loud so bad for no reason? Like, the Saints, they're probably a fine team. They're not that good.
Yeah.
Like, that's their car back there, baby. What are we doing?
Yeah, I think I said 6 wins before the season. They have a little bit of a head start, but I still like over 500. I feel like is a stretch.
They scored 44 points on the Cowboys defense, and I'm just looking at the line now because, admittedly, I was in Vegas for work, and somehow I was in Vegas and didn't get to watch like any football at all. So Dak threw the ball 40 times, 39 times. They won 44-19. The Saints. How many completions do you think Derek Carr had?
Fucking 17? I don't know. I didn't watch that
He
game
threw the
much.
ball that many times, or Dak did?
Dak did in a loss. I mean, he had 2 picks, but how many times do you think Derek Carr completed a pass?
I'll say 13.
Okay. He only attempted 16 passes, and he completed 11.
That's crazy. I tried to go low intentionally, and I still was fucking too high.
I thought 17 was fine. Like 17 for 23 or something. Yeah. I don't know, dude. That's fucking ridiculous. I mean, Kamara was running just all over them.
Yeah. He is like the buy low fantasy hit of the century the last 2 years. Like,
yeah.
I thought he was maybe cooked with the suspension, and then like they had some young guys, and then Kendra Miller's hurt. Jamal Williams is back to being Jamal Williams, and he's just fucking like 2016 Kamara all over again. It's
fucking he's got to fall off at some point. You would think.
And I thought he got a little boxy, like Marshawn Lynch little build when he like came back from retirement. I don't know why I had that in my head. I don't know if it's his headshot or what, but then like I saw him running and he's like built like a wide receiver, and I'm like, never mind.
Yeah.
I don't know why I ever thought of that.
Are Steelers games unders just a lock for the whole season? Because it's like you guys are going to play super stiff defense, and then like I want to see you guys play against a high-powered offense to see how much you can stifle, like, you know, Clash of the Titans situation. Because you're not going to score points.
No, we're not. I texted this to Lewis today. We're like a few penalty calls away from being viewed very differently.
Yeah.
And like some of them were penalties and we got to fix that. But like the Falcons, every big play got called back. We would have blown them out of the fucking water if that didn't happen. The Broncos game was gross.
The number this week for Steelers Chargers, it's 35.5. It's just going to live in the like mid to high 30s. And then one of these weeks it'll be over like 60, and everybody's going to be like, what the fuck? And it's just going to be all the penalties are not going to get called back.
Yeah. I mean, you're bordering on Iowa football unders.
We already got the colors.
I think also the second half of the Broncos game was not good. But
no.
It's not the same bad. The offense is bad for different reasons than it was bad the last 2 years. Like, Kenny Pickett fucking sucked. He was terrible. He couldn't do anything. Like, the Falcons game, where we kicked 6 field goals or whatever the fuck it was.
Yep.
We at least moved the ball the whole game. So, like, we're doing that, whereas before it was just 3-and-out, 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 3-and-out.
Yeah.
Bomb,
I guess it's like
touchdown, 3-and-out.
It's like a dormant, like torpedo or something. It's like, all right, I mean, this isn't, but there's a high likelihood that if you fuck around with it too much, it'll explode. I think you're right. There probably will be a game where you score like maybe it'll click for Justin Fields. I think eventually we'll have to address the Dolphins and Tua situation before we would move on to the upcoming week. But if this is a good transition that way,
Yeah.
rumors of Russell Wilson interest in Miami. I know that he'll be cheaper, but like right now I keep preaching like, oh, let's go get Kirk Cousins. But I've also seen reports that Tua has no intention of retirement yet, which he definitely should have some intention of retirement. There shouldn't be 0%.
Zero's a bad number, it feels
Yeah,
like.
I mean, everybody wanted him to stop after the first one, and then the second one happened. They're like, probably should stop here too. And then this one, I mean, you got the fingers again. It's like
they did him a little dirty on the broadcast where they did like a highlight reel. They like had it ready of like all the times and he has an absolute bobblehead. It looks like, I don't know if he could intentionally snap his neck harder on some of those.
He's the neck muscles of a newborn.
He's going to the hit normal. It's not even like he got like crushed. Yeah. It's not even like he got crushed. He just falls like normal, and then right as he hits, he goes, boom. I'm like, stop.
Motherfucker should never go on a roller coaster. He should maybe, like, he could be the first quarterback to ever wear those, like the shit that linebackers wore in like the 70s.
The cowboy collar.
Yeah, the cowboy collar. Because, I mean, it's ridiculous. And like as a Dolphins fan, my thing always has been, I like him because there's something to be said about having like a really good locker room presence, a guy that everybody likes. But the ceiling with Tua, despite our offensive weapons, is I was just like middle of the road, like slightly above average. It's not going to win us. I mean, apparently even the division. So like he was holding us back a little bit in that sense, but I figured that this happening, not as much as I want him to be completely okay, and it sucks. It's like they could go one of two ways. We either
kind of wish his brain exploded.
Yeah, we either absolutely squander the time that we've had with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle on the same team, with Devin Achane like doing well, and like it all kind of goes to shit because I don't know how much money we'd owe him still if he does retire. I don't know why 150 million is in my head, but like
feels weird. But that is how much Tua Tagovailoa costs in the modern NFL.
Yeah, that's nuts.
That sucks because I felt like they were going to be a like smash the number button this week, like no matter what, because it's like they just got killed. They're not that bad. The Seahawks are not as good as they, I mean, like 2-0, like off an overtime win. But then it's like, oh yeah, the Dolphins' next guy up is Skylar Thompson.
Do you see who we signed? Even though Skylar Thompson is still the proposed starter. Snoop Huntley.
Oh,
you might remember him as Tyler Huntley.
Snoop is his name now? Where the fuck did that come from? Why did they not?
I thought you just made up a nickname.
How is that not his name in Baltimore? That's his name now?
So now that is we're the Miami Dolphins. 1 win, 2 changed names, guys elevated from the practice squad with Robbie Chosen. Actually, that's a double name change, right? Wasn't it Chosen Anderson? Double name change.
He changed it again?
It's Chosen.
I didn't even know
now.
that.
Or Robbie Chosen now, yeah.
Yeah. He went from Robbie Anderson to Chosen Anderson to Robbie Chosen.
He's just slowly pushing it out. It's nice to see me Robbie Anderson, the Chosen, like the third. But yeah, I mean we have that going on. I would like to go get, if we got a guy in the draft, somehow we got somebody to trade us a position that could get a draft pick high enough. Archman would be fun down the line, or I wouldn't mind Jackson Dart. I think Jackson Dart could be a fun one.
What if he changed it from chosen to the chosen, and then he made his number 1, and then you're like, oh fuck,
the chosen
that's Robbie
one.
Anderson.
Yeah,
Like it's not the chosen one; it's just Robbie Anderson.
The chosen ones, like LeBron James and Robbie Anderson, are the chosen ones.
Football finally has its LeBron.
I'm not. We're in a bad spot.
Yeah. I had another thing I wanted to complain about. The Giants. I'm gonna die on the hill that the Giants was the right pick last week. So I got this stat later, which made it worse. That obviously, so the kicker got hurt. Whatever. I didn't know he was questionable the day before. Well, I mean he's questionable before the game, but he got hurt the day before, and they just put somebody on IR, so they only had 52 roster spots, and not only did they fill it with something else, they didn't fucking fill it. It was 52 guys for I think most coaches would want 70 guys if they could on the sidelines, and
that feels like a level of fuck up that in a corporate job would mean you're probably fired.
Yeah. It's I gotta hide this at all costs because it's an insta fire.
Yeah.
And Brian Dable, it's well, he won 10 games once, so he will never get fired.
I don't get what happened to him. His first year, they weren't good, but they overperformed like crazy. I mean, they lost Daniel Jones last year. That shouldn't fucking put you out. But
should put you in.
Yeah. But I don't know.
Their defense was nasty.
I don't know why they thought they could let Saquon.
Daniel Jones' contract is the most nobody needed hindsight thing of all time. It was 4 years, 60 million or 160.
Yeah, it was 40 million
for a guy who's never been good.
Yeah, never. Yeah. And when they won 10 games, he wasn't good.
Yeah, and
they won 10 games despite him.
While he's on his rookie deal, everybody's like, "Oh God, I can't wait till we get out from under this guy." And then on the 5th-year option year, he goes nuclear and throws 26 touchdowns or something like that.
It wasn't a lot, yeah.
They didn't lose all of his fumbles. They recovered a lot of his own fumbles. And then all of a sudden, you're locked in for 4 more years of 4-win football.
And even that year, it was just Saquon up your ass the whole game, and if they if that didn't work, they had nothing. They just couldn't do fucking anything.
Yeah.
I don't know. Who thought that was a good idea?
That Hard Knocks is a really tough watch for Giants fans.
Yeah, it is, that quote.
I was curious, just thinking of Baker Mayfield's second contract in Cleveland. And I don't know if this returned the correct results, but as far as thinking about I was trying to think of somebody who kind of performed similarly in their rookie deal or whatever. And I think you'd probably say Baker was significantly better. It says the contract was worth $19 million guaranteed, and a 5-year option exercised for 2022 season when he was with the Browns.
Baker, yeah.
I mean, it just feels like a crazy world. I mean, he's not even top.
Do you think they regret letting him go? Because that looks like a fucking mistake right now. Because they kind of, now I'm not crying about it at all, but I'm much happier that they have Deshaun Watson now than Baker. He was a tough guy, played through a lot of injuries for them. He had his shoulder was completely fucked that last year, and they ran him right out of town. If he gets surgery and sits out, is he still a Brown? I don't know why they did. Hindsight, that one maybe a little bit of hindsight is required, but that looks tough now.
Yeah, when somebody signs a guy who's not the guy, and you're like, oh, they made a mistake, and it's like Eric was saying with Tua, it's Tua is he's somewhere between top 8 and 15, right? On a given week, probably. And so it's you pay that guy, and it's how do you pay that guy? And it's well, if you let him walk and try to make a big move for something, you could end up with a guy who makes I mean, what is it, 200 and whatever million for Deshaun Watson?
Yeah, they paid that, and is a rapist.
Right. I was going to say that's going to be. I think that might be one of our things to keep track of this year. It's like the Russell Wilson bathrooms to touchdowns thing.
How much
rape allegations to touchdowns for Deshaun Watson?
How much less millions per year per rape do you think? Allegation. Obviously, conviction is a lot different.
But that's what I was gonna say when I was trying to think of the 200 number, and I said that's like, and I paused for a second. I was trying to think of how many millions per rape, and I was like, well, how do I convert this to something meaningful? And I couldn't.
He doesn't even look like he wants to be there either.
Yeah, well, you know where he wants to be.
Probably
and if he can't be there, he's going to force his way in.
Yep, yeah, he will. He's a piece of shit and also really bad at football right now. He's just, it makes me so happy that he's their quarterback.
I just love that.
I love it.
I love that the Steelers are leading the division, and that is second in the division.
Yep.
That's just, we got the head start that we needed. I hope we do it still. But.
I did the numbers if you guys want.
So lay it on me.
So he signed a 5-year, $230 million contract with the Browns, including $45 million signing bonus. But I just did the 230 by 5. And with 26 previous cases, that comes out to slightly over $8.8 million per sexual assault charge.
It would be like they could probably slide on this a little more if he was good still.
Yeah. Well, but that's the craziest thing.
Yeah. And they've moved so much money of his contract around. Like the year he missed the 14 games or whatever, like they just pushed all his money to the next year. Like they're like, oh, so he doesn't miss out on $30 million this year. Here, we'll fucking help you out, rapist. And just push that all to when you can play next year. And then he didn't fucking hardly play at all anyway. But
it is so funny to think about the concept of, oh, we have a terrible quarterback, so we got to get out from under this contract. So we're going to convert a bunch of this year's salary to signing bonus. And somewhere along the lines, you end up writing like a $30 million check to a known rapist. Why are you doing that? And it's like, well, it happens to be the same guy, actually.
That's crazy.
Yep. And they have a really fucking good roster. Like their roster is.
Yeah.
It's good.
This is why you don't give out charity defensive players of the year, because now Myles Garrett is actually off to a really hot start. And he could maybe win it this year, but he should not have fucking won it last year.
No, that was crazy. And I would have been able to live with like Micah Parsons getting his first, because he's a little different than TJ. He does a little bit extra stuff. So if his sack numbers aren't quite there, it is what it is. Myles Garrett's an edge rusher, and he wasn't even top 5 in sacks. Yeah. Like what the fuck? How? Because he fucking almost got there the most times? Are we fucking serious? That was a fucking joke. You don't understand his
impact, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, rushing the quarterback is a huge deal.
It is. That's why I like having the guy that has the most sacks. That's why I think he's the best at it, because he gets the fucking most.
That's my favorite thing is like people trying to compare TJ and Myles Garrett, and it's like it actually is the most one-to-one comparison of all time because they're in the same draft class.
Yeah.
And if anything, TJ's actually played less games. The only time Myles Garrett has missed games is when he tried to kill someone on the football field with a deadly weapon, assault with a deadly weapon. That ended up as a 4-game suspension.
Yeah,
essentially,
something like that.
All right, you guys want to talk some college football?
Yeah.
I feel like last week was kind of a slow week.
Do we want to start with graveyards or talk about big games?
I feel like there was 2 really, really good games. It was the Georgia game and then Backyard Brawl, which I started fucking making dinner during because I was like, well, this is over. And when they scored the touchdown to go up 10, West Virginia did. I was like, well,
yeah, I was happy for you. I was happy for you, but I will say I was rooting for the Nears to win that just because it makes the Penn State Week 1 win look better. I did get to see the tail end of the Georgia game. And I guess Kentucky plays them tough a lot or whatever, but just coming into the season,
lose money on that game every year.
Yeah, I mean, coming into the season, I feel like everybody knew Texas was going to be good, but you're still like thinking like Texas is awesome. They're going to be like at number 2 all year because of Georgia. And then like that kind of solidified people's, I guess, like thoughts of Carson Beck not being quite at the level of like what they've had before, little downfall.
I like us beating West Virginia, if I could just go back to that real quick. I like Pitt beating West Virginia for you, though, because it does give us something to unify for. Not only because you guys beat them, but like us and West Virginia are definitely each other's biggest rivals. And then also West Virginia is just like the most, like if you're like, who's Walmart Penn State? Like the closest thing to that, I think it is West Virginia.
Really?
I think so, because it's like, okay, party school, but not quite as good in that respect.
Yeah.
It's, they have not to be mean, they have a finite cap for how many games they can win, but you guys is like 10 and theirs is like 8. Little brother conference, Big 12 compared to like Big 10. And yeah, I just know, I feel like it's one of those arguments where there's a lot of people from like central Pennsylvania or like eastern Pennsylvania too, even, that go to West Virginia that like probably could not get into Penn State.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not even close academically, but
right.
Yeah, I guess I could get behind that.
Okay, so maybe it's Dollar Tree.
Not
Walmart.
Yeah, I think, but I think also because both those schools, it's just like West Virginia, they're like good at basketball, but like it's football there. The same at Penn State, it's football.
Yeah, they might even edge us out in basketball. Well, definitely do, I'd say.
Yeah, they're definitely better in basketball, but yeah.
But no, yeah, I mean, if Pitt keeps winning and then like if West Virginia keeps winning, I forget who they were going to play this week.
Are you asking about West Virginia?
Yeah, West Virginia.
Yeah, I think that sounds right.
Yeah, I think it's Kansas.
And it's like, pick them to win that, probably, I'd say.
I still think, like, I don't think West Virginia is great, but I think Pitt's a lot better than people thought they were going to be. And Penn State's, probably is a top 10 team. Like, they haven't played a Big 12 game yet. And the Big 12 is fucking up for grabs.
Yeah.
The only thing with Pitt, though, is that the last 2 weeks have both been crazy comebacks. So, like, we could easily be 1-2.
Yeah.
But then you're having a conversation of, like a 7-5 team. Right. Then you're talking about, like, at the end of the year, a 7-5 team that, like, plays a really inferior opponent and, like, kills somebody in a bowl game. And you're like, was Pitt kind of okay? Now they're going to be closer to their ceiling, get maybe a tier-up bowl game, and we're going to get the shit kicked out of us. So that's fine.
I still think, I think West Virginia will be able to run the ball in the Big 12 a lot better than they could. I didn't watch much of the Pitt game. I caught towards the end of it, but like they couldn't run the ball against Penn State at all, and that's what they want to do.
Their quarterback messing up a little bit, I feel like.
Yeah.
Towards the end of the game.
I don't think they're as bad as they seem right now, but I don't think they're great.
I mean, honestly, if Pitt keeps winning close games, the ACC is kind of like if you sneaky win 9 games, you guys could win. The
ACC looks bad.
This is what we did when I was in college. Was that we like? It's like before the season, no one's thinking about Pitt, and then it's like there'll be one big game that or not even big game, it's just like one game against like a Virginia Tech in like ranked in the 20s or like something along those lines. Or like a Virginia, I think we had a big win against them one year, or like obviously the Clemson win that my freshman year. But like there's just one game that it's like if you win that, you just kind of coast to the ACC championship, which is crazy because
you're gonna play the rest of the schedule game and see.
Yeah. Okay, so we're 3-0
so
right
you just
now.
You beat Cincinnati, you beat West Virginia.
Mm-hmm. Are we gonna make the playoff? Is that what the end of the segment's
Youngstown State?
That's a win. Crazy.
UNC,
right?
Probably a win this year, right?
Yes, I think.
Cal, probably a win.
Yeah.
Syracuse might actually be a loss.
I think that's a loss.
Syracuse probably a loss.
6-1.
SMU.
That's a win.
That's a win. All right.
7-1.
Virginia's a win.
Yeah,
I think that you might play Clemson tight, although they've definitely they've been playing like they know that everybody thinks they suck.
Yeah, that's still a loss because Clemson. when we play Clemson close is when expectations are high for Clemson. When as soon as everyone's like, "Ooh, Clemson falling off, like maybe this is the year the Pitt can beat them," that's when we get killed. That's the worst place to be.
Did they have a bye this week, or they weren't ranked this week?
Clemson, I think, had a bye.
Oh, okay.
They're ranked. They're in like the.
They're ranked 21.
Yeah, I was gonna say 20s.
On here, but I was looking into last week. Okay.
Because that's what, so 8-2?
8-2. Louisville probably a loss, right?
Yeah, but that might be like a ACC championship game play-in. Depending if both teams have like played to their peak. It's gonna be Miami against one of those two.
Last 3 games, you got Clemson, Louisville, Boston College, who's been playing kind of well against people.
That's like a round robin for who gets to play Miami. Is Louisville, Pitt, Boston College. Which, to pivot off that, I kind of have a graveyard for you, Eric. Is I don't know. I still don't know like the true definitions of the graveyard, but I think Missouri like is not that good at all.
Really? Oh, well, I guess it's kind of more like an Undertaker WWE graveyard. Like it's not actually people who are dead. It's kind of like you put them in their grave. I guess it would be kind of like the team that you think wouldn't make the playoff, which is also tough because it's expanded so much that like there's going to be some bullshit that the committee pulls just because of whatever. I think Mizzou. I like that. I don't think Mizzou's is good. I mean, because what this year or this week, 27-21 to Boston College. You told me that SEC like mid to upper tier. I mean, that people are acting like they're upper tier. SEC school is going to play Boston College within 1 score.
That's what I mean. Is like I'm looking at their schedule right now. Like A&M, I think is a tough game for them in 2 weeks, and I don't think A&M is that good.
They need to never play Connor Wegman again. Why was he playing? Holy shit! What's that dude's name that played this week or last week? He was all over the fucking place.
Okay, Missouri has the easiest SEC schedule of all time. They play Vanderbilt at A&M. They get their random UMass cupcake in the middle there. Then home against Auburn, at Bama. That's a kill yourself loss. Home against Oklahoma is like their second toughest game. Then they play at South Carolina, at Mississippi State, home against Arkansas. That's like if you could hand pick an SEC schedule other than the Bama game, that's probably all of the opponents you would pick.
I think at A&M is sneaky tough, depending on what they do with their quarterback.
Yeah.
That's a tough place to go in and win. I think if they, what was it, A&M, what's the other tricky one? Other than at Bama, I think they lose that.
Home against Oklahoma.
Yeah, I think they beat Oklahoma. I don't think Oklahoma is very good.
I don't think so either, but it's like, it's crazy that that's maybe their second toughest game.
Yeah. Thinking of, I know that this team like has fallen off and they're never really flirting with much, but I was looking at fun games to bet and I saw like the Florida Mississippi State and I thought of it because you mentioned it on their schedule. And I was like, oh, like what's Mississippi State doing this year? They are fucking horrible.
They're one of the worst teams in college football.
Arizona State, they got their shit kicked in by Toledo.
Yeah.
41 points Toledo scored.
That's going to end up being one of the more embarrassing losses of the season. Like, it doesn't matter that they suck in the SEC. That's a MAC team coming to your house and beating your fucking ass. That's crazy.
I mean, Maction can't sleep on the Maction, but I do like the trend that we're seeing, Lewis. So if you're putting Mizzou in the graveyard, I'm gonna have them linked, holding hands with LSU. I don't know if we've put them in there before.
I did. I said that after the USC loss, I think.
Did you? All right. Well, then I'm gonna double bury them.
One, but
we're gonna bury them 12 feet deep now. Where
Brian Kelly fucking belongs.
Yeah, dude. They suck. I think they suck. I mean, they edged out South Carolina, who like plays some opponents tough, but they needed Nussmeier, who did he get a little bit hurt in the game, but he threw the ball 40 times against South Carolina, who and their starting quarterback threw the ball 16 times. I was looking at it just to pull up the stats, but like they had a 140-yard rusher against them. Which, if you're in the SEC and you can't stop the run, I feel like you're fucked. Yeah. I feel like that's kind of the thing.
Because it's just an NFL player coming up the pipe every single
time.
Yep.
I think there's a lot of really good games for the upcoming week.
I got a fucking graveyard if we didn't do it.
Yep.
Real quick. fucking, I don't know if anyone did this because I wasn't on last week, but Michigan is fucking cooked.
Yeah,
Yeah, I said
They
Michigan. Yeah,
week one.
did it. Oh, yeah,
Oh,
their
that's good.
fans are coping so fucking hard right now. And it's kind of like
Oh,
I like
pros.
seeing it. Yeah, they're fucking cooked. They're done. They win what 7 games this year, maybe 8. They look how is that motherfucker? What is his name? Not Orgy, the other one. How the fuck is that your
Warren
quarterback? I
Davis.
don't even how, yeah, at fucking
Yeah,
Michigan. How is that your quarterback?
I mean,
off a national championship
yeah,
Yeah,
and
off a
years as
national
contenders. How's that the best recruit you get?
yeah,
yeah.
and that Orgy or whatever. How good is he if he can't play over that guy? He
He's
fucking
kind of like,
stinks too.
was it Denard or no, Gardner from a long time ago, who's just like, he wore 98 for them and just ran the ball
Mhm.
because he was big. That's what, like,
Yeah,
I mean,
That is
that's what it's
also
going to be.
Denard Robinson, though.
yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. I mean, they're kind of pathetic. Like off a national championship like that, like
Yeah,
that's bad. They can't
I
run the
think
ball either. They can't run the ball. What the fuck is that?
Well, and they think their defense is still stout, and I guess like they're okay, but I mean, Texas blew up the score. I don't know.
Texas coasted.
Yeah.
I think
Coasted.
USC might smoke them in the big house this week.
I
What do you
really
think
hope
about
so.
USC?
I think their quarterback's
E-
good.
Sorry, go ahead. I think USC could sneaky be a playoff team because I think I was looking at their schedule. If they win this game against Michigan, I think their only game that I would like really say is pretty losable is Penn State. And so what if they're undefeated now? If they beat Michigan, only loss is Penn State. Like it's tough because you're figuring Penn State is going to be at most the second best team in the or in the Big Ten. So I don't know. It's hard to like. It depends where Penn State is if they lose to Penn State, because then like you can't put them above them even if they're only a 1 loss.
Yeah.
And so it's like I'm not sure what their ceiling is, but I feel like USC always does this where it's like everyone thinks they're fine, but no one's really thinking about them preseason, and then they end the season somewhere between like 9th and 14th, which in this year that's a very good thing for you.
Yeah. I think it's going to be tough to project because you just like if they have one loss to Penn State and Penn State, like who's our toughest game? Oregon, probably.
Ohio State.
Ohio State. Oh fuck, I forgot. We missed Michigan, not
Yeah.
Ohio State this year. So Ohio State, we have one loss to Ohio State. Like that's if we beat
Right.
USC, we're in over them. There's 2 Big 10 teams right there because Ohio State's in.
Yeah.
Oregon's got a fucking shot, although they don't look great so far.
Yeah.
And then you got the whole fucking half the fucking SECs in the top 10 right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if Penn State's only loss is to Ohio State, I think they're in as like probably like number 6-ish.
I think they're comfortably in if the only loss is to Ohio State.
If we have a home playoff game, it'd be so sick. I think of course it works out that the year that we skip Michigan is like if we
They
beat them next
stink.
year and they suck this year and we beat them next year, they'd be like, oh, well, they're clearly not the Oregon. Like, but if we could have got them at least in this season, it's usually later in the season anyway, and like people would still kind of have that narrative. But beating the defending champs the year after, while they're defending champs, feels a lot better. But it's still, they're just going to get fucking written off. Just like every time we beat anybody, you go into the game and they're like, they're great. And then we beat them and they're like, what was this? What was West Virginia? It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
We can't keep it through at all. But I have a resurrected team. I think they still aren't good. But Oregon last week, their monitor was doing the slow beeps. It was like beep, beep. Now we're getting a little bit of life there. Like they're not out of the coma yet, but the family, like their nephew held their hand and they showed a little bit more life, and everybody's like, holy shit. Like maybe they're coming out the other side of the tunnel.
I think we can beat them. I don't think like Dylan Gabriel just really doesn't scare me.
Whose Heisman is yours Heisman favorite still?
I think it's Cam Ward.
Oh yeah, that
I
makes
haven't
sense.
checked, but I think like him, like Jackson Dart is up there now.
Yeah.
I would bet on Nico right now.
Yeah, he looks fucking good.
Yeah, 71 points last week.
I'm ready to get into like the conference play now. I don't need
Yeah.
any more of this fucking cupcake. like these cupcake games.
Yeah, I'm done. Of course, we got Kent State, so.
Real quick rundown. Illinois at Nebraska, both ranked in the 20s. This is the good thing about like the 12-team playoff, like people who are against it. It's like this game, before it's like, okay, they're like both kind of good, whatever. This means something now because whoever wins is probably going to be a top 20 team in week 5 with like a lot of optimism in front of them. So that's an interesting one. Utah at Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State plays Utah and K-State back to back. So this is like their whole season pretty much because it's the only good teams they play and it's back to back. And then Tennessee at Oklahoma. I think Tennessee's going to fucking kill them. Oklahoma sucks.
Yup.
Yeah.
All right, should we do some NFL picks, boys?
Let's do it.
Oh, yeah, baby.
All right, let us... Oh, yeah, we got an ad. Once again, brought to you by Faderade this week. Look, guys, we had a rough week on the whole, okay? Myself included. I was feeling really down on Sunday, and what I really should have did was grabbed a Faderade. Because if I did, maybe I would have seen the light that the Texans were fucking scumbags and that Cam Akers. How the fuck's Cam Akers getting the ball, by the way? Sean McVay just decided he's not, even when he's healthy, he's not good enough to even put shoulder pads on. But maybe I should have cracked open a Faderade. Very hydrating. Because for the moments where you just got to fade yourself, it's just got to be Faderade. So.
Thank you to our sponsor.
Yes. We're changing the format again. We're still ironing out the details here. For the foreseeable future, I think this is a good way to do it. But it might just be this week at this rate. We're going to talk about what we think are the 5 most interesting games. A little bit more of a deep dive than we've been doing. Locking our picks for the week. Friday around noon. Because the other thing too is we had like a lot of decent lines that we actually bet that were like 2 or 3 points better than some of the lines that we got on the show last week. So yeah, I think we're gonna release those on Twitter and Instagram, unsolicited dick pics, on either Saturday night or Sunday morning. Get you ready for the NFL slate. So yeah, that's how we're gonna do it. Recap from last week: Eric, 10-6, won in the parlay. Mags, 7-9, he won in the parlay. Corey also 7-9, he lost in the parlay. I was 6-10 and lost in the parlay, which brings the overall standings to Corey is at 56.3%, Mags and Eric both exactly at 50-50, and I am at 43.8%. Not good.
Time to get hot.
It is time to get hot. I do love the board this week, I will say.
Did we have a punishment in place? I kind of forget.
Yep, it's the half marathon.
Yep. Jorking it.
6:12, 18:24.
Yeah.
Which it's looking like I'm going to have to do. I think, do I jerk off 6 times so I only have to run 3 miles? These are the decisions that we must make. All right. Our big 5 games of the week. We're going to start off Texans -2.5 at the Vikings. The number is 45.5. Both of these teams are 2-0. I think that's a surprise for the Vikings. Maybe not so for the Texans. They are a road favorite. Does anybody want to start?
I'll go. I'm a believer in the Vikings, so it's hard for me to take the points. It's relatively low after coming off of a week of long spreads, but I think I like the over at 45.5 because Mixon's a little bit banged up. I think the Texans probably win the game, so the Vikings will be throwing it around at Jefferson. He kind of came alive last week. So I like the points. I like 45.5.
I almost put him in a parlay for his yards over, and I was like, I don't know if I see Sam Darnold getting the ball to Jefferson for more than 76 yards over the course of this whole game, and then he fucking did like 20 yards more than that in one fucking play. So
yeah, that's tough.
I'm on the Texans -2.5. The Vikings are one of those teams that I think I'm just gonna die on the hill of like I don't think that they're bad, but the other shoe has to drop at some point, and I'm not going to not believe in them and then bet on them once and then have them prove me right. That's the worst kind of shit.
Yeah.
So I'm on the Texans.
Yeah, I'm on the Texans too. Kind of the same reasoning as you. Like, I don't think, how long is Sam Darnold gonna keep this up? You know what I mean? Like,
I wavered
it's
him
not
in
gonna,
Superflex this week. It's
it's
disgusting.
not, I think the Texans are the better team. It's 2.5 points. I'll take them. I think they can get it done, win by a field goal. I don't think the Vikings, I think they're fine. I don't think they're great.
Yeah, that was I. I put in a waiver claim for him and I forgot, and then I checked the next day and I was like looking through and I was like, because I had Tua in that league, so I was like, fuck, I didn't get a quarterback, and then I was like, went to like the recent activity, and it's like it's just because Sam Darnold might as well be an empty slot or like a bench slot in terms of fantasy the last couple of years. Because I was like, oh fuck, I got Sam Darnold. I forgot that I picked up Sam Darnold.
And I think also coming off that big win, I think like I don't know. I like the Texans here. I don't think the Vikings pull it off 2 weeks in a row.
What if he's just steady Kirk Cousins now, though?
Dude, I did want the Steelers to draft Sam Darnold out of college. I remember when I was like, fuck, the Steelers are never going to pick high enough next year to get Sam Darnold. That was like a thought that I had.
Yeah, he tore us the fuck up in that Rose Bowl game.
I feel like I mean, he's kind of like a perfect Steelers guy. Are the Vikings set up to be the Steelers of the NFC?
They do have Brian Flores, their DC. He's probably the closest thing to Mike Tomlin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we also don't have Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, we have George Pickens, who's
pretty fucking good.
All right, next game. Eagles plus 2.5 at the Saints, over under 49.5. I'll start on this one because I think I've made my opinion clear. I'm on the Eagles plus 2.5. I think I'm probably going to go money line on the Eagles here. This is going to be a theme for me this week. This is the return. Water finds its level week of the Saints are not this fucking good. The Eagles they controlled the whole game against the Falcons, who are like an okay team, and then just randomly fourth quarter collapse. Like they're up by 6, controlling the whole game in the red zone, and then all of a sudden it's like,
which was a coaching blunder.
But yeah, I just think the Eagles are probably a little bit better than everybody thinks, and I think the Saints are way worse than everyone thinks. And I haven't bet a money line dog yet this year, so this is going to be my first one.
It seems like we're gonna have a similar week again. I'm on the Eagles. I'm on the Eagles too. I don't hate the over, but if you told me week 1 that the Eagles were catching 2.5 against the Saints, I'm not a Jalen Hurts guy. I don't think he's great. I don't think the coach is great. But I don't know, man. The Saints, it's fucking Derek Carr. Like it's kind of, I feel with them similarly to how I feel about the Vikings. Like it's gonna have to end at some point. Like they can't keep getting away with this. And I think the Eagles, I think they have enough defense. I think they can, same with how they did it against the Falcons. They can control the clock, run the ball, keep the ball out of fucking Derek Carr's hands. And
I mean, both of you made me second guess my thoughts now. I mean, the over set at 49.5, and the Saints have been scoring a shitload of points, but I think that's like a trap line. Because, I mean, yeah, like you said, the Eagles defense is fine. I'm looking up the rankings as of right now, total defense. The Saints have given up the 7th least yards on average and only 2 touchdowns, I think it looks like.
That is crazy because their defense is on the field, or their offense is on the field for a crazy small amount of time for someone who scored 80 fucking points.
Well, so that's because I was also going to look at that, like the Eagles defensive line is nowhere where that it's been the last few years, but apparently the Saints have the 31st ranked offensive line in the league. So I don't know, maybe if the Eagles get home a little bit more in this game, because that's what they're getting clowned for this whole week, is that their defensive line was terrible. I still will never bet for them to win anything, so I'm going to take under 49.5.
I like that, Eric. I like that. I said I like the over, and then I thought about it, how I just said they can control the clock, and I was like, that doesn't sound like over to me.
Just a lot of running this game.
Yeah.
I think the two best players on either team's offense are Kamara and Saquon. So
yeah.
All right, third game here. Chargers plus 1.5 at the Steelers. Over under, like we said, 35.5. Disgusting. This is Jim Harbaugh run the football. Steelers DNA run the football. This is a football game. This might be the biggest football game up there.
Here, I'll help you out, Eric. It's the Steelers. Minus 1.5. Easy. I don't think we'll win it easily. I think they are a worse version of us, roster-wise, minus quarterback, obviously. But I don't think they have as much talent. I don't think their defense is as good as ours. Justin Herbert scares me, but their receivers don't necessarily scare me. I think it's going to be a disgusting game. I'm going to watch every second of it. But I think the Steelers win this. I just think they're better.
I've never been the biggest fire Tomlin guy, like compared to the rest of the fan base. I would have fired him if you would have told me that we could get Jim Harbaugh, because first of all, his identity matches our roster right now like so fucking well. I would have loved to have Jim Harbaugh. I think that this is probably going to be like 17-13 one way or the other. But I just think it's one of those things that, yes, they've played well. I think Harbaugh's a good scheme. He knows how to use the guys that they do have. But in a guy off, the Steelers, I can't believe I'm saying this, the Steelers have a much better roster than this other 2-0 team. But they fucking do. Like our defense is so much better than their offense. Like unless we just leave holes open for J.K. Dobbins, like I think even with Herbert, like you said, they got nobody to throw to. They're gonna have a hard time moving the ball. The only thing is Joe Alt, Rashawn Slater, probably the best tackle duo in the entire league.
Yeah, they're very good.
Ooh, Joe Alt's on the right side. It's gonna be Joe Alt versus TJ.
Yeah, I like my boy.
Yeah.
Cold day in hell for somebody.
I think I'm just gonna do it because it's actually like this might be the only time the Steelers might be the only time that it's super fun to bet the under. I think I'm betting under 35.5.
I just said 17-13 and that would hit. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and it's hard to bet that because my recent acquisition of J.K. Dobbins, who's actually like come on pretty hot this year.
That was a good pickup.
Yeah, thank you. I think that trade was incredible. But yeah, under 35.5. I want to just, like you said, just a nasty. It'd be perfect if it was raining and just muddy as hell and disgusting out. That would be the best game atmosphere.
I think we do something about the penalties this week. I think we get those fixed, get that ironed out, and we're off and running. I don't think it'll be like a high-scoring game or anything like that, but I think we win.
J.K. Dobbins was one of those guys that the first time that I saw him play in college, I was like, that guy's going to be fantasy relevant for the next like 15 years. And, actually a hilarious other one that I had was I thought Trey Sermon was going to be so fucking good.
I remember you thought that. I remember that, yeah.
He had, I forget who, I think it was like against Michigan, then like Big Ten championship, and then like in the first semi of the playoff. I don't remember if they went to the national championship that year. I think it had 200 yards like 3 weeks in a row. And it was just their entire team was just give Trey Sermon the football.
Yeah.
I thought that
on my
about
dynasty
Josh
team
Adams
right now.
Weirdly enough. Not even in the league, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. All right, no, he's my JT handcuff right now.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. All right. We got 2 in the late slate. We've got Niners -7 at the Rams. 44.5 is the number. This is like preseason. This looked like it probably would have been the Fox game of the week in the late window, and this is now just like maybe the grossest game of the weekend.
Yeah
7 points is a lot. The injuries are ridiculous to both teams.
America's game of the week, that's what I was trying to think of. I'm on, it's such a big number for not a team that's underwhelmed. I'm going with the Niners -7. I just feel like I think the Rams might have been the like trend, when somebody's like a trendy pick, and then not only did they not take the step forward everyone thought they had, they maybe took a step back. It's like The defense is kind of banged up. Also, wasn't that good. Not really running the ball as well as I thought they were going to. And then Puka hurt, Cup hurt. It's like,
Yeah, I still like the Rams. I'm not holding on to that thread of just liking Matt Stafford. I do think that they'll probably get beat here, but with all the injuries and the defense on the other side, I'm going under 44.5. I bet more unders in 2 weeks, 3 weeks than I think I've ever bet total combined.
every game's going under.
Yeah.
Although there's a lot of clock stoppages for penalties with all those bullshit ones. But
Yeah.
I hate picking this right now because I just don't know. I don't know where to go. I had a pick that I felt like felt good about, but the fucking no Koopa. Koopa, that's who they are now. No Puka,
Koopa
no
Troopa.
Cup. Koopas. No Puka, no Cup. I don't think they got it. I think the Rams cover. Or the Rams. Fuck me, dude. I think the Niners cover. I think they cover the 7. I think like the Rams defense isn't very good. The Niners love to run the ball. I think they'll be able to. And coming off that loss, like I feel good about them. I think they're gonna like come ready to play. Even with no
Debo playing?
Is Debo? I think he's out. I was just
Yeah,
gonna
he's
ask
out, I
that.
think.
Debo,
I think he's
CMC
out.
out.
Yeah, but that Mason?
Jordan Mason.
Jordan Mason. That motherfucker runs hard as shit.
Like a bigger
And
Checo ass
Pacheco.
dude.
yeah, he runs hard as fuck, dude. And I mean, they still got Ayuk, still got Kittle. I think it's just too much for the Rams. The Rams injuries are, I think, just worse.
This
To
could
be
be
honest.
this could be the Kittle game. This could be the
I think so.
160 and 3
Yeah.
touchdowns.
Yeah, I think so too.
All right. And our last game of the week. This one, I still, as I'm saying it, I don't know what I'm picking. Ravens -1.5 at the Cowboys. 48.5 is the number, and this is just two teams that are human question marks at this point. I'm gonna snap to it. As I was saying it, I thought of it. I'm going under 48.5. I just think it's two teams that they're both of their offenses are always thought of as better than they actually are, like functionally. Like the Ravens are always a gross offense to watch. Even when Lamar is super efficient and like he has like an MVP caliber year, like it's never a fun offense to watch. Like they never throw up points. They don't know how to use Derrick Henry. Like Justice Hill gets the ball way too much for them to be like an offensive juggernaut. And the Cowboys, I'm wondering, the Cowboys are a bigger question mark for me. I think I know who the Ravens are. Like that Raiders loss last week, it's not the most surprising thing in the world because the Ravens are a huge play with their food team. So that doesn't surprise me at all. The Cowboys are the bigger question mark for me. But I just think if the Ravens aren't going to score, the Cowboys, like, if they can't get it to CD, they probably also will not score that much. So fuck it.
I think I'm going with the Ravens here. The first time I looked at this line, I thought Ravens right away. I still think this. I think they are a question mark. The Raiders loss, I'm just gonna throw it out. They're not that bad. And they like the Chiefs game. I think the Chiefs game is more of who they are than last week. And the way that the Cowboys just got fucking ran on against the Saints. And that's what the Ravens want to do. They want to go there and they want to pound the ball down your throat. And I think they'll be able to do that. I think Lamar's just like general ability kind of takes away from how good the Cowboys pass rush can be because he's just, I mean, Micah Parsons is fast. That's fucking Lamar Jackson back there. I think I don't think it's a high scoring game, but I think the Ravens come out on top.
Side note, when we were at the sports book, my coworker threw 1,000 money line on the Ravens, and apparently everybody in the house thought it was just the easiest, like, make a couple dollars. The teller or whatever the fuck, the cashier, whatever you call him, he told us that he had not one, but multiple $500,000 money line bets on the Ravens that day.
Oh my god!
Holy shit!
I would have
Fucking
never
imagine.
done. I know it was a big number,
Yeah.
Again, like I said, I bet the Raiders. I felt like that was like a 4-point Ravens win, but even I, seeing that, would not have bet them
I
the
mean,
Raiders money
that's
line
just
ever.
nuts. I can't even fathom that. But I mean, after you guys talk, I was thinking to try to zag. I think what scares me the most is like, yeah, we know what the Ravens are, but the Cowboys being like all over the place like makes them more volatile. That it's crazy. Like, oh, they got ran all over the place. They're gonna try to make a point to stop the run, and then if they force Lamar to throw the whole game, the fuck, we know what that looks like usually. And I was gonna zag with them with the Cowboys covering 1.5, but I think I like taking the under at 48.5.
Solidarity. I love it.
Yep.
Do you want to give away dick pics?
Do
I
we have
don't.
mags? Do you
Yeah,
have mags?
I don't know if I have mine yet, actually.
Okay. Okay, we'll save it. We'll just release on social, but
Yeah.
I'm going to give
I know what
mine
mine
just
is,
as a
baby.
little I'm going to give mine just cuz as a little teaser. I'm so confident in this. Mine is Lions -3 at the Cardinals because the Cardinals absolutely fucking kicked the shit out of the Rams last week. Small
Yeah.
plus sign. They earned themselves a small plus sign against a team that is way better on paper. Lions off a close loss, relatively unexpected, but I don't think it's a terrible loss. The Bucks are definitely better than people think. If there's one thing that I've learned from betting, it is that the Lions are going to cover this number because the squares will say, the Cardinals, they played the Bills close. They killed the Rams, but
Yeah.
in reality, they went up huge against the Bills and then got it shoved up their ass for 40 fucking minutes. And then the Rams are just like probably not that good. And the Lions, like people are gonna be like, oh, they're not as good as we thought. And it's like, I think it's just like the Bucks are better than people thought. It's like, oh, NFC South team, the Bucks are better than we thought. The real sharps, no. The Cardinals are not that good. The Lions are not that bad. The water finds its level weak. It's striking. These teams are not 3 points apart. I've been cold, but this is a reputation bet. I refuse to be a square. I'm going down with the ship. Lions -3.
I love that. I was all over that this week. That, like, when I looked at FanDuel for the first time, like, the other day, scrolling through,
Licking
I
your
was like,
chops.
yep. Yeah, I was like, the Cardinals are not that good.
Mm-hmm.
They're just not. And I agree with you. The Lions are good. Off a lot, like, Lions off a loss. Dan Campbell is going to get the boys fucking going off of a close loss. They were at home.
The Lions are on the road.
Were they last week at home?
Oh,
I thought they were. It looked like Dome when I saw the replays.
yeah, you're right. Yeah,
Yeah, I think close loss, and then the Cardinals coming off beating the fuck out of the Rams. I just think the Cardinals or the Lions here, big spot. I think they win by 7, 10, maybe. I
Yeah.
think I think they get it done. I don't think the Cardinals are that great.
I think I saw something once too. Like, there's definitely something to Team A covered last week. Team B did not cover last week. Team B will cover. Team A will not cover. Because, like, the way the lines work, like, on average, teams are going to go 500 against the spread. And it's water finds its level. That's going to be my saying on this show. Water finds its level.
Yep.
All right. Also, water finds its level game, Giants. I'm back on the Giants this week.
What a fucking shitty who gives a fuck game. So I'm not touching that with a 40-foot pole.
+6.5. The Browns should not be favored. 6.5 points against anybody. The Giants will have a kicker. I might bet them. I might be on the money line.
That's disgusting.
It is.
I thought I had my dick pic, but I'm getting way too ahead of myself. I need to calm down and look at the board.
Look at the board. Analyze the board.
I looked at the board and I fucking loved it. But listen, this may end up being what mine is. It might not. I scare myself when I start liking the Steelers too much because it always goes bad. Like, we always lose. I don't think this is a game like when we lost to the Patriots last year and the fucking Cardinals back to back. This isn't that, but I like them way too much right now. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
relax, look at the board, and find something that I like better than
The
that.
Chargers are too good for it to be a trap.
I think so too. Yeah, that's what I mean. It's not like the Patriots game we lost last year. It's not that kind of trap. I scare myself when I like the Steelers this much
Me too.
over the last fucking Mike Tomlin tenure. I don't know why I was about to say the last 3 years, but like,
Since the last playoff win, yeah.
It's crazy we went
yeah,
from such large spreads last week to so many inside of 3 points. I mean, I just want to point out to everybody that the Bears are +1.5 to the Colts. And then
Yeah.
Oh, that game is something.
and the Panthers are inside of a touchdown or two field goals, 5.5 points. And then I just love the fucking Bucks. I mean, a touchdown over like a touchdown's always a lot of points, but at least it's 6.5 and not 7 or 7.5.
Yeah.
So those are the three I'm gonna look at. I don't love the Colts. I rarely ever bet on them positively, but the Bears. Caleb Williams have a touchdown pass yet? No, not yet. So I don't know. Something to think about. AR is just maybe a little bit better version currently.
Yeah.
Of Caleb
When I
Williams.
was in the middle of getting my ass kicked last Sunday, I was looking at my picks and I was the squarest fucking square you've ever seen. So I gotta really dig deep this week because I looked at my board and I was like, no fucking shit. No,
Yeah.
like, why did I think that Malik Willis wasn't gonna cover
Just saying, you're currently 1
against
and
the
2 in our dick pick parlay.
I'm really bad. Yeah, I know. I am bad in the parlays. Still in first place. I just need to pick one of the picks I like a little bit for the dick pick parlay
It's
instead
never
of
it's never the best pick.
It's never, yeah. Who did I have last week? The Seahawks.
No, I had the Seahawks. You had the Niners.
For the Niners.
I did. That was bad.
Yeah.
That was cooked early. We were done early
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
I'm gonna drop a bomb. No comments after it. I'm just gonna go right into the outro. But there's a team that just had a crazy win that they should not have gotten. People might be riding a little high. That's the Raiders. I'm betting on the Panthers again with a backup quarterback against the Raiders. All right. So look out for the full slate of picks on Twitter and Instagram. Look out for the unsolicited dick pics also on Twitter and Instagram. If you're listening to the audio, thank you. Consider subscribing to the YouTube. And the three of us are actually going to be together all of next week in Tampa.
Right, baby.
So we'll have to discuss and see what's going to happen next week with this thing. But yeah, so be on the lookout for all the picks on socials. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we will see you all next time.